Thanks for joining us today on another one of our, well, this is a three-part series, and this is the final one now, looking at the manufacturing sector, the commercial sector for 2N. So we're going to take you over, you know, what challenges people face in the manufacturing and commercial sector, and yeah, some bits around Access Commander and My2N as well. So it is more of an introductory series, but if you've used 2N before, hopefully there's something you can learn here as well. Of course, I'm joined, there's myself, Jason, and then I've got Chris on the call as well. Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks, Jason. Yeah, just hope to pique some interest if you know 2N or have no idea about 2N, how it can fit into some potential projects, really.
Yeah, definitely. So I suppose in terms of the agenda then today, so we're going to be looking at some case studies from around the world, so a couple in the UK and then one or a couple around the world. Challenges in the manufacturing sector, how to solve these problems. We'll then briefly look at the My2N Cloud Management Platform, then Access Commander as well, so some of the features around there. And then, of course, a Q&A section at the end. So in terms of the manufacturing and commercial projects, there's a couple of reasonable size ones here that we've got. So we've got the Warsaw Tower in Warsaw, Poland, which was a project all around around emergency communications for 29 elevators in one of the EU's tallest building here. We can see in the picture. But yeah, it was a really, well, I wasn't involved in the project, but it was, there's a lot to that project with 29 elevators. It's quite a large building. There's a lot of different access control needed, and then of course the management platforms as well to make everything work together. God, I'm going to butcher this name, but Kempinski in Latvia, 5-star luxury hotel, multiple different access control units dotted around the site for 141 rooms, all with Access Commander and My2N, to make everything work seamlessly. And then one a little closer to home, so Lidl's new distribution center in the UK, which is they're a German retailer, but yeah, robust access control and intercoms dotted around the site for emergency call points, and then of course for staff entry and restricting access as well for different locations around the site. So what are the challenges in the manufacturing sector? Well, you've got security, so theft prevention. You want restricted zones, so maybe for example, in our own offices here at ProVu, we've got, everyone can gain entry to the building, but we have different areas like our server room that's restricted to certain people. So my fob isn't going to work for the for that room, whereas we can choose who actually gains access to that. But on a large scale, this is really effective for different areas of the buildings, to keep everyone safe essentially. And then, yeah, your high value assets. So kind of coming back to the theft prevention, but, restricting access, making things more secure. So, if you've got large amounts of stock, it can't just go walking about during the night, because not every operation is 24/7. The access control complexity. So multiple buildings might be an issue. So if you've, I don't know, let's say a regional manager, you don't want to have 3 or 4 different fobs for the different sites. You just want to have one that you can gain access to all of them, as you travel around. You've got the different shift patterns, and then contractor access as well. So allowing people for a set period of time to be able to gain access to a building. Health and safety compliance. So you've got the monitoring of entries and exit. And it's especially during emergencies, and we're seeing it more and more now, where we can use this as we see people putting a access unit on to gain entry, but then also to actually scan outside of the door. So there's really that sort of monitoring there. People use this for wage systems and calculating salaries, and then of course for emergencies, if there's ever a fire, for example, you can see who was where and make sure everyone's accounted for. Your operational efficiency. So of course in the manufacturing sector, it's all about being efficient, reducing the downtime. So again, sort of coming back to this regional manager walking around the sites, he doesn't want to be able to, ask him for access every time he goes somewhere. Pre-planning. It becomes messy. In this, more business and manufacturing sectors. You want scalability as well, of course. So you want to be able to grow the system as you add new sites. As you're adding more people, you need it to be scalable and easily scalable as well.
Yeah,
so how does Twins?
The scalability I was mentioning, like a lot of sites will start with one intercom of ours, and it's managed by one of our platforms, and then next year they add access units and they add more intercoms because it's all in one ecosystem. So the scalability, you can start with one device today, and then next year have 100 of our devices.
Yeah, no, exactly. It comes back to even if you add in a new part to the building, you can just put additional access units when required. So how does Twin solve these problems? Well, in terms of the access control, of course, everything IP based for perimeter and entrances and secure zones. So you can restrict access with Access Commander. You've got multiple different credentials available, so RFID, Bluetooth, PIN, and also things like fingerprint as well, if you want to get a bit fancier. You can manage everything remotely with Access Commander, and then you've got your time profiles as well for your shift-based access. So sites that do run more 24/7, allowing people in at different times and making sure that, when you're not supposed to be there, that you can't gain access, as easily as you would during your shift pattern. In terms of the intercoms, so there's a variety of different intercoms, but you mainly see your IP Verso and IP Force in that sort of manufacturing and more industrial environment. So obviously it's got weather resistance, dust resistance, intercoms, really robust intercoms available. And you do have a choice as well. You've got there isn't just one intercom. There are a couple. There's the IP Safety, IP Force, and then IP Verso as well. You want integration with different VMSs. You've got mobile apps and desktop clients as well. Obviously there's going to be, in larger sites you might have a reception, or if it's more of a smaller site, people might want to be able to see the video feed on their actual desktop client. Then you've got SIP support for integration with existing phone systems. So especially for ProVu, with us being more in the telecoms, sector, this is a really big one for our customers. Making sure that it works with the systems that they've got, and there isn't anything more additional they need to do. It just makes things nice and simple. Of course, remote management, we mentioned it a couple of times, but the use of MyTwin's cloud platform for remote administration. You can manage multi-sites from one central point, along with Access Commander. You get real-time notifications, and you've got audit trails as well, especially if you've got a large number of engineers potentially on the system, making changes. It's nice to be able to see those changes, and if there was something that you can question why a change was made. And then third-party integrations. More notably, we've got Microsoft Teams recently, which is a really nice integration. And there's a lot of people using Microsoft Teams. I think most people use it nowadays. So it's really nice to have that native integration with it. But of course, you've got compatibility with VMSs like Milestone and Genetec. Integration with Access products, so your cameras, maybe speakers as well. And then you've got APIs for your custom workflows for your bigger sites. So I'll hand over to Chris now. He's going to take us through My2N and then a little bit on Access Commander as well.
That was brilliant, Jason. Yeah, good explanation. Access configuration. So we have our devices. They sit on a network. They can be configured through their IP address. It's pretty simple. But when you have more than 2 or 5 or 10 devices, you want to have one central management platform. And that's why we have 2 different options. My2N, it's called My2N Cloud Platform, and then 2N Access Commander on the right. You can see My2N's cloud-based, so there's no extra hardware. It's completely free. You don't have to pay anything. Access Commander is an on-premise solution, so you're running it on your own PC, a server, or we sell a little mini PC box with the software preloaded. My2N, honestly, it started out as a calling platform. We called to a mobile application, and that was it. The intercom could call to an app, and you could unlock the door, see the visitor. And then in the past few years, we've added access control to it as well. So from there, you can CSV import users, you can assign them PIN codes, you can enroll them their card or their fob, and you can also assign Bluetooth credentials with our mobile application, which is completely free. Access Commander can do the same thing. It's just a bit more robust. You can do things more detailed time profiles. So I work from 9 to 5. I can't enter the building before 9. Those kind of things where My2N is more restricted in that area. Access Commander, you can get logs for 1 year total. My2N 90-day logs, and that's due to GDPR compliance rules. So bigger sites, more reliable things. Access Commander, the on-premise solution, is robust, is all there really. We go into My2N real quick. Just how does My2N work? Yeah, the devices, intercoms, answering units, access units, they're all connected to a PoE switch that goes back to the internet, which then allows you to register them to the cloud. And then from the cloud, you can remotely configure them. So you can be in a different country and you can still access the configuration of the intercom. You could add a user, you could delete a user so they can no longer enter the building, and you don't need to be on site to do that. And yeah, it's free, I mentioned. What else? CSV import, we've mentioned the users. And yeah, this is just basic overview. So cloud calling, so intercoms can be on network A in the United Kingdom, and an answering unit, a panel, a monitor to answer can be on network B in Wales or in another country, in Ireland and Czech Republic, and that intercom can still call to that answering unit. They're on completely different networks, but they can still talk to each other. And yeah, that's free. Access control, so My2N, you can do the PIN codes, you can do the RFID cards and fobs, and then as well as enrolling the mobile app Bluetooth credentials. And then remote management I mentioned before, yeah, it's accessing the interface of a device, changing the configuration from anywhere in the world. Here's some screenshots of My2N. It's completely free. You can create an account, you create a company, and then you can have different sites. So you have company A is site 1, company 2 is site B, etc. And you'd have a nice drop down here where you can easily manage each individual site. And this is just little screenshots of going through the access settings, setting up a new group. You set up a group of users, and then you go and you add the devices to the group, which then you can enroll those users in the group to the device. So like Jason mentioned before, their server room, I'm a sales employee, so I don't belong in the server room. So this is the settings of where you would set that Chris cannot go into the server room. And it's pretty much the same in Access Commander. I'll show it later. I don't need to explain now. But you have your list of devices, and then in the groups and the users that can access those devices. What else? Yeah, our developers or our UX team, they try to make My2N that's usable for technical people. So integrators can go in and push all the buttons, but it's also tailored to receptionists. So receptionists can be made kind of an admin where they can't change many very important settings. They can easily add a user. If you have a visitor for the day, they can enroll that visitor for 6 hours, 12 hours, and then it's automatically unenrolled after that set time. Just more. This is just setting up a PIN code for Johnny Smith or assigning a key fob. You would click assign key fob and copy and paste the UID of the key fob to Johnny, and then he can get into those zones that he's allowed into. And then My2N app access is the Bluetooth credentials, the free Bluetooth credentials to access with your mobile phone, which I'm using every day. I don't go anywhere with my phone, but without my key card or my access card, I do often sometimes leave home without that, but not my phone. And then the PIN codes real quick. It's a pre-generated code, 5-digit code, no more, no less. You can't make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's just a security thing. Me as a user, I want to remember it. I want it to be 2, 3, 4, 8. But no, My2N predetermines the PIN code, so you can't change it yourself. And this is just enrolling a key fob, copy and paste the ID, and then this is just for the My2N app, Bluetooth credentials. These are your access logs. You get immediate access logs. It comes in 1 second, or I suppose depending on the network everything's connecting to, but you can see Johnny tried to enter with a card that wasn't valid, so he didn't get in, or some unknown user did. Then yeah, after Johnny entered with his card, and then later in the day, or 4 seconds later, he used a PIN code to enter. And it shows you the time and day, of course. Just a more longer logs, records from the last 90 days I mentioned before. After 90 days, it's automatically deleted, and there's no way to change that. Whereas with Access Commander, it's a little more variable, the on-premise solution. We can talk about Access Commander now. This is a little mini PC box that we sell. It only runs Access Commander software, and yeah, it connects into your network, and then you browse into it through its IP address. You can see you could connect a monitor to it and keyboard and mouse, but that's no longer needed. Professional software for access control configuration. Yeah, we do love Access Commander, and it's developing. There was a new firmware release yesterday for it, so always getting new features. There's a free demo if you want to try it out. You can scan the QR code, or after we send the PDF, go ahead and scan this, or acdemo.2n.com will take you there. It's a free demo. You can play with a real site, not real devices, but it does act like it's real devices connected on the demo. Just quick topology or wiring diagram. You have your Access Commander, that mini PC box, your own server connected to the network, and then yeah, through a browser you can browse into it, make changes, update firmware on devices, add users, delete users, all that good stuff. So important, but VirtualBox, Hyper-V, VMware support. So you have a virtual machine you run it on, download the software and run it there. Or I mentioned the mini PC box before, which supports up to 7,000 devices and 200,000 users. I haven't heard of a site with 7,000 devices, but please, if you're interested or have something with that potential, contact Jason or I. Access Commander box, not so interesting. There's licenses for Access Commander. What sets us apart from the competition maybe is the licenses are a one-time fee. They're not recurring. You don't have to pay for it every 5 years or 1 year. It's a one-time cost. You buy unlimited, and you can connect those 7,000 devices, or 7,001 if you wanted to test the strengths. But it's mostly based on the devices and users. Each tier, you see 30 and 300, 100, 1,000. And a few different features as well, maybe not included in the basic and advanced. Licenses, this is just a structure. It's similar to my2n. I explained before, you have a group of users who get assigned to a group of devices or zones, and then you can apply time profiles to those users or to those devices. The zones, yeah, the server room, that group of sales can't go into the server room, but the IT guys can go into the server room, and of course they can go into the sales room because they're IT. Time profile is pretty self-explanatory. And these are just some screenshots I took. You're walking through creating a new user. As I mentioned, it's tailored for, of course, integrators, technical people, but it should also be tailored for my mom, I like to say, or a receptionist, someone that can just click add a new user. It pops up what you want to do. You name them Adrian Young. You want to assign them an RFID card, give them mobile credentials, maybe give them a PIN code. It's very simple setup, and that's how we make it, or our developers make it, UX team makes it. With Access Commander and PIN codes, you can assign me 1, 2, 3, 4. I want a 2, 3, 4, 8. You can choose the PIN code. It's not predetermined. You can see the credentials that Adrian's been assigned, a card, a PIN code, of course, and then you can go and assign them to groups. I think maybe I go into next. Yeah, groups. So technical support, this group has no members. You're going to add the members. You're going to add the users. And now Adrian can access the technical support office. Zones, this is adding the devices to zones. Yeah, add devices. The zone has no devices, so you can go ahead and add an intercom or the main entrance intercom. And I'm gonna cut short. No, I just went to the end. That was weird. So we added the devices to the zones. devices are in one zone, and then they go ahead and you can create time profile on each zone, or you can put the time profiles directly to the users depending on their work schedules, I suppose. Office hours, sure, no one can enter before 8 and no one can enter after 4:30 because the office is closed during those hours. Access rules, unlimited access. This is the matrix, maybe. Yeah, the matrix. So this is newer feature, but it makes it easier to administer where people can go. The CEO can go to pretty much everywhere except for the server room. IT can pretty much go everywhere except for the CEO's office. And then you can see tech support have this white one. That's because there's a time profile on it. You can only access the common areas from that 8 a.m. to 4:30 time. Parking, they can go anytime. Anyone can go anytime into the parking. Free parking at work. Good perk. Firmware management, a nice thing about Access Commander. Imagine if you have a site with 100 devices. If you're just using My2N, you actually have to click maybe 600 times. There's probably 100 devices. Yeah, there's probably 4 clicks per device. So let's say 400 times to update firmware. You're clicking 400 times, whereas with Access Commander, you can click one button and it's going to update all those 100 devices. So a lot simpler. Target version, yeah, it tells you what firmware you're going to set. Cam logs, you can get snapshots from the intercom. If I scan my card and it's enabled, the snapshots, whatever, I think it's 5 burst screenshots can be sent of who is standing in front of the intercom, who entered their PIN code. If it was unrecognized, you can get the snapshots of who tried to get in your office that shouldn't be there. Access log, and yeah, those burst screenshots are the screenshots from the camera. We're not sending video, we're sending photos. Those can be sent to an email with SMTP. Video recording, yeah, that's done. Jason mentioned VMSs earlier, video management servers, software, video management software. VMSs, Milestone Genetec, or some hard drive that stores video. The intercom, the video from it can be stored elsewhere. And yeah, some picture record. This is the burst screenshots. You can see 5 screenshots of this delivery, nice delivery guy trying to get into the building. Visitor management, yeah, this is once again some screenshots showing how easy it is that my mom could set up a visitor who's coming at 9 a.m. and that's the card that they're going to use, and it doesn't look like they've given a PIN code, but you can see the group. They can go into the visitors and they can go everywhere except for the CEO in the server room, or however you set those access rules. Access log, again, not so important. I said with My2N it's 90 days. Access Commander is 1 year, and then it's automatically deleted. Of course, if you want your logs, you save those logs, you export the logs, and then after that 1 year it deletes, but you still have the saved information somewhere stored somewhere safely. But you can just see it's a bit more detailed than what My2N provides. And yeah, we get to the end. It's not so technical, but if you want technical information, this is the place to go. It's the 2N Academy, academy.2n.com. And yeah, you start with, I don't know, the introduction, and you can go into Access Commander, you can go into My2N, you can go into answering units. It tells you the basics, but it also tells you what buttons to push, how to configure things, how to set up a mobile phone getting called from an intercom. The Academy is brilliant, and yeah, the team spends a lot of time on it. To give you training, to give you free training. It can be done anytime. You can skip around the different courses, so it's not like you have to go in order or anything. And once you do that, some screenshots of the Academy, just how it works, or what it looks like. It's very intuitive. Just click on the intercom call button to start the call. So you would click in this general area, and then the answering unit rings, ding, 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 and then it says, please answer the call on the intercom. And yeah, this is a very basic, I think this is the introduction course, but it's intuitive. It says scan the card over the reader, so you have to click the card and hold it over the reader to authenticate, just showing how one might enter a building. But it also goes into the configuration too. It's not so simple. Anyway, there's a basic courses and advanced courses. There's 8 basic courses and a test. and you complete that test, and you get this boom certification award. You've completed the online academy. I completed the advanced series, but it has expired. Unfortunately, I need to get up to date on that. But the link is here. You can click it after, enroll. Please get on the courses and have some fun with it. It's an interesting place to learn about 2N. And yeah, that's all I got, Jason. If you want anything to add, or I don't have the question
No,
box.
thanks for that, Chris. No, we've got a couple of questions that's coming actually. So I think we'll go over them because they look to be in relation to what you've just covered. First one's from Jamie. He's asking, can you upgrade the Access Commander license? You can, Jamie. Yes, yeah. So there is a fee to upgrade, but essentially you can go from advanced to unlimited or advanced, to the professional one, and you can upgrade at any point. There's no issue with that at all.
Yeah, it should be less expensive too than buying just unlimited to start. You buy advanced, and then you buy pro, and then you buy unlimited, and it's less expensive than just buying the license outright. So we don't gouge you on the upgrade prices.
And then we've got a question from Ian. When will the My2N support custom pin codes? Do you know if that's in the pipeline, Chris?
I have no idea. Your guess is better than mine. I don't think it My2N ever will. Like I
It
said
seems
earlier,
quite fixed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a security thing. Like everyone's gonna want 1, 2, 3, 4. Or maybe it's a limitation of My2N, honestly, but it could be a security thing, is how it's played and how it should be sold to end users, kind of. And it is possible to change a pin code manually in the configuration. Just there's ways around it. I would say.
What about another question here? Bulk firmware updating on My2N.
It should come someday. Yes, that's a big topic. It's also one thing that really separates Access Commander, a paid service for 2N, from My2N, which is a free service. If we give everything for free, then the development is slower, etc. But yeah, bulk firmware updates in My2N should come someday.
You're getting the more advanced features really with the Access Commander. So things like that, if that's required, really you should be using Access Commander anyway. But there's another one here. Can the logs be automatically backed up outside of Access Commander on a schedule to retain more than 1 year worth of data? So I suppose can it be exported automatically? Is that available, Chris?
Probably automatically.
I believe it is, but we can come back to it, Ian.
Yeah, I'll write it down. I mean, yeah, it's after 1 year they're deleted, so I've always just been told to export it, save it on your own files, and then it's reset in Access Commander. So at least you have the files if you need it from the previous year.
I'm sure I've seen that the schedule. So I'll we'll check in. We'll come back to you on that one.
You should definitely always back up your Access Commander installation anyway. That's very important in case anything ever happens to your network or to your PC it's running on. Then you still have the backup of the whole setup, and you don't have to go back to scratch and reconfigure everything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's sort of all the questions at the moment. We'll stick around for another minute or so. Let's see if we get any more questions.
Yeah. So someone think of something witty. I don't know if anyone else has seen. Yeah, recently we had the Teams integration come, so 2N intercoms can call directly to Teams, where they can unlock the door, of course, speak to the visitor. Recently we had our IP Force upgraded to IP Force 2.0, so it's got 5 megapixel camera now. There's new camera, new microphone, so a lot clearer audio communication with the reception, or the reception with the visitor, compared to the original Force. And then with today or yesterday was the wireless locks, the smart locks came, which is perfect for Access Commander because that's how they're managed. And yeah, look out for the smart locks, or there should be a webinar at the end of the month on the smart locks, or it's all online at 2 o'clock today. It should go live, or 1 o'clock UK. So
okay, perfect. Well, I think that's all the questions. So appreciate everyone's time. Thanks for joining, guys. Oh, in fact, I say that there's another question. Let's have a look. Can I have devices on different sites on the same Access Commander? Can I have devices on different sites on the same access commander? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can do that, Ian. Yeah.
If you connect the networks together, sure, but if you have 3 different networks and one instance of Access Commander, it's not going to sync together unless that Access Commander can talk to those different sites. So port forwarding I've heard of, VPN connections, more for the tech guys, but happy to put you in touch with them if you'd like to learn more about that.
Perfect. Well, I think we'll end it there then, Chris. So appreciate everyone's time and thanks for joining as well, Chris.
Yeah, cheers, Jason. Anyone, please bother us if any questions. Please.
Absolutely. Cheers, guys. Speak to you soon.
Cheers, Jason. Have a good day.
You
Bye,
too.
everyone.
See you later.